Hey everybody, today we're up at the Grand Mesa Lodge up here in Colorado on the Grand Mesa, one of the largest flat mountains in North America. We're going to talk about hiring and human resources. Not today, we're just going to fish, but in this video we'll talk about lots of different strategies, hiring, maintaining, onboarding. There's so much to cover. This will be a part 2 or 3 part series. Lots to cover. Let's dive in. Thanks for following. Just so you know, this is the same day at Steamboat Lake in Colorado that we just had on the river. It was beautiful. Now it's snowing. Come follow me. Then this is the channel for you. You go. It's pretty cool, huh? Let's talk about hiring some staff and some practices that we have, some strategies that we have. Here's the thing, you're gonna get better over time. You've worked with people in early childhood for years if you're in a position where you're about to hire some new staff. So think about the qualities of your co-teachers that you've worked with that you've absolutely loved and write down your questions. You're gonna write down questions over years. You're gonna keep throwing them out and put new questions in. Start somewhere, start creating questions and maybe start by describing some of the staff that you've worked with in the past, some of their qualities, and then create some questions to see if those candidates that are coming in are going to answer those questions similar to some of the qualities you're looking for. And just be open to be mind blown, completely mind blown. Work on your interview questions. I have some that I really like. I love to give staff a scenario. I would always tell them this in my interview. I'd say, usually, gosh, I've asked this 1,000 times. Hey, you've got 2 toddlers, they're 2 years old. They're at the train table, Jack and Jill. Jill takes the train, Jack bites Jill, Jill cries, Jill, this. And what would you do start to finish? How would you handle it? The kids are in the room now. Don't tell me what you would do, show me. How would you talk to them? And it really puts them on the spot. So you may warm them up a little bit before you put them in that scenario, but gosh, you can really tell someone that's comfortable working in a classroom. The ones that have answered that with great knowledge and confidence, boy, they stand out tremendously. So come up with a scenario that you like, give it to them in there. I'd love to ask them why they're here. And I do it right at the beginning. And sometimes they'll go, I just need to save up some money for this, over the summer so I can buy a car. That's not really what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for someone that's wanting a home, a family, a career to learn and grow. And granted, this is a stepping stone for so many young, particularly women, young professionals. Maybe they're gonna go work in pediatrics, maybe they're gonna go work in an elementary school or what have you. So welcome all of you. But I just wanna make sure I find the right partnership. I don't hire people because they love kids. I hire people that love kids, that want to enrich children's lives, that want to be a partner in their education and so forth. So much of our hiring is from the heart, from the gut. Mistake that I've made, not making that reference call. And I still do it. Sometimes I'll hire someone and literally we'll get done and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to call their job references. Call them before the interview if you can, if you have their application. And just get some feedback. You can ask the person that is interviewing. Now there's legal questions on what you can and can't ask, and some employers are going to be more open than others. Strengths and weaknesses. If I can figure out what some of the strengths and weaknesses are for a candidate before they show up, I can curtail my questions around those strengths and weaknesses. Or I know what to look for where they might stumble and fall and I can help them. Okay, so would you hire them back? Huge question. And when they hesitate, and I hesitate several times when I get that, that's a big flag. So be aware of that one. That's the most important question you could ask is, if they walked in the door today and asked for a job, would you hire them back? And boy, because when they say absolutely, Gina was fantastic, absolutely love her, confident, wonderful with parents, great with kids, you got a good one. So make sure you call on job references and call those specific to your local market, because you have staff in your local market that are going to jump from center to center over time sometimes. And But by developing those relationships with other owners, other center owners and human resource people, it's so great. You can talk sometimes candidly. Always remember about the legal aspects of what you can and can't ask. But that rapport is going to really help you. Because I've hired one a little while ago, let's say, and didn't work out. And I ended up bumping into that individual's previous employer later, and they said, "Kirk, why didn't you call me?" I won't ever forget that. That's all she had to say, and I realized, why didn't I call you? So super important to call. Here's, with COVID pandemic, we have been doing Zoom interviews. I've done like 2 before. What a great way to screen potential interviews. What a great way, because you can set it up and 5 minutes in, you can say, "Hey, listen, I've got another appointment coming up here. Thank you so much. We'll be interviewing some additional staff in the future. This week, we'll be reaching back out to you via phone or email here by next Monday or Tuesday. If you don't hear from me, feel free to reach back out on Wednesday and follow up." But you can shut down that Zoom interview really fast, and it's a lot more comfortable to shut it down that way than to say, "Hey, thanks, I know you just drove 40 minutes across town to get here, but I only gave you 5 minutes," right? So that Zoom, I'm going to keep doing Zoom interviews. I absolutely love the idea that of saving time and pre-screening someone, because it's saving not only my time, but it's saving their time as well. Then you can sit down and do an actual interview. And then what I like to do, if they meet that the standard where I'm like, "Okay, you did well in this interview," then I want to go ahead and book them for a working interview. And it's important to understand that the working interview is still part of the interview process, and I make it really clear. So we've done maybe a Zoom, we've done an interview, and I go, "Hey, how would you like to take the next step with us and do a working interview?" What that looks like is this. We'll have you come in the morning. I used to tell them, "Hey, you come in for half an hour or half a day." If they came in for 5 minutes, looked around, and walked out, that makes my decision really easy, right? Make sure you don't book working interviews unless you really think there's a chance you might hire this individual, because you're putting more stress and pressure on your staff and possibly wasting a lot of people's time. And maybe your staff's candidate time where they can maybe be with a different company pursuing a job where they may have a better chance of getting hired. Anyway, here we go. Working interview, 9 to 12:30. I love that time frame. It gives them a lot of time to see things like circle time and transitions and a meal, and see if they're going to be a bystander or they're going to be a participant. And I always tell them, "Listen, come in like it's your very first day. What would your very first day look like? What could we expect from you?" So it's an opportunity for you to impress upon us your skills and ability and desire to work with kids. Also a great opportunity for you to try us on, to make sure that we're a great fit. And so it's kind of like going to the mall and grabbing a pair of shoes. If you could walk around for a few hours in them before you purchase them, you know for sure if they're going to start hurting your feet. I want you to recognize whether we're going to hurt your feet, okay? Because you're going to be moving around a lot and busy, and we're going to really give them some challenges. We're going to ask them if they're comfortable to, let's say, mitigate a behavior issue that comes up in the classroom. We'll prep them for that. Now, the best way we've prepped them is sending them our working interview video. It's on our channel. It's right here. Looks like that. And grab that link and save that link and send it to all your working interviews. I built this not only for our staff, not only for our working interviews and our potential new staff, but for you and yours. So send that email to them with that link. They can watch that video. I think it's maybe 15 minutes or something. It will really help your new candidates prepare themselves to get into that classroom so they're not so blindsided. It helps break the ice too as well, because I want to see what their best is. Show me your best first, in your working interview, because it might take otherwise them a couple hours to warm up. I want them to know here's what will land you a job and here's what won't land you a job. So that working interview video is a great one. Be sure you use that. And then I also give my staff an evaluation tool. So let's say today's Wednesday and I book a working interview for Friday. I write the name of the applicant, the classroom, the time they're coming in. I put it in my staff's classroom box so they know that morning they go, "Oh, I got this." and we put that person on the schedule as a working interview. So my staff are not blindsided. I'm not just walking and saying, hey, here's Jenny, she's doing an interview today, a working interview. So that's really helpful. And then get that feedback from your staff. The other thing this does is it gives your staff an opportunity to participate in the hiring. They have a voice. And when they know that they've got a working interview and they may potentially be helping to hire their next coworker, they're going to be more invested and vested in that working interview. That partnership with your staff is a great way, part of that hiring. And then after that working interview, if I'm around, I always tell them, hey, catch me before you leave if I'm still here. I love to, then here's my question I like to ask them. Tell me about the last 3.5 hours you spent in the classroom. Some of them will go on and on and on. Some will go, it was nice. You're gonna learn a lot about what their take is, what their involvement is. They always say, oh, the kids are so friendly. They just warmed up to me and they were so great. That's good. That's great. That's normal. That's normal though. I want to know what's not normal. I want to know, and then I want to follow up with some great questions like, tell me something you learned. Tell me something you didn't expect to see that you did. Tell me about a situation, maybe some child behavior got a little bit rowdy or something like that. How did my staff react? What was something you would like to change? That's kind of a bold question because they're trying to get hired, but maybe they have some experience and they spot something. They go, I like the one thing, and I don't want to be critical, but I noticed that when they transitioned from the carpet to go outside, the game they played took a little long, and the kids in line started getting antsy, and so maybe I would have split my staff. So I did a shorter game, and I had another staff at the door, kind of engaging those kids, and maybe the first 10 could go out while the other 10 lined up. To me, that would be a great observation. Wow, that's a huge, might be hired moment. Okay, so I really just want to engage with this applicant right after, do a following interview if you need to, get them on board and get them hired in. That is my hiring philosophy and process. And then we get into the onboarding and so forth like that. So I'm going to stop right there. This is it. I hope you got some good stuff out of this one because, not only going with your gut, learning from experience, talking to other directors and professionals about how this person may have performed another job. Those are all things. Make sure you do your homework, spend time, because now you're going to spend more time and money and training and stress on other staff if you're hiring the wrong individual. Find people that are looking for a culture to grow in and a partnership with you and your program and your kids. Hope this was helpful. Have a marvelous day. Hey, don't forget to hit the button. Comment down below if you would. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching this video. It's June 7th, 2020. We're going to wake up to an inch of snow tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.